Hey guys, William Bryce with William Bryce Wrestling coming to you with another belt review video. Now, if you've watched my other videos, first off, thank you. And second off, you may recognize this belt because I've already done a belt review video on it. But if you watch my videos on the NXT Tag Team Championship, you may also know that I do the Paul Martin videos when I get a new Paul Martin strap. And I am very excited to say that I just got my Paul Martin send-out strap for my men's NXT championship. So I'm excited to do a review video once I get this baby switched over, show you what is similar and what is different between this and the belt from the store. Now, of course, if you watch that other video, you know the big difference right off the bat is that this is faux leather versus real leather. Now, this belt I've had for over a year, so it's a little broken in. But that being said, even with the weight of the plates on it, not the most flexible quite yet. This one, by comparison, with no plates on it, already flexing quite a bit more. So once we get this switched over, we'll see what it looks like compared to this one in a number of ways. But here we go. All right, so now we have got the plates off of the shopwwe.com one, and we can do the comparison between just the straps themselves. Now, we know that this is the WWE one because it's got the certificate on the back. Now, first thing right off the bat that I'm noticing is that the shopwwe.com one does have a little bit of a color variation. That being said, I've had this belt for over a year. That could just be fading, but right now, this Paul Martin strap looks pristine. I wish I had this one from fresh so that I could do a true comparison in the color, but I've had it for a year. What can I say? So there are a couple differences that I see right off the bat, but a lot of those differences are the same differences I saw with the NXT Tag Team Championship. So first off, size comparison. When I lay these on top of each other, the size comparison for the main plate part of the belt and the side plate part of the belt are identical, even down to the curves. The only difference in the sizes themselves is the length. So on the right side here, we have about half an inch, maybe a little bit more, that it's shorter by. On the left side, same thing, about half an inch. So if I slide this all the way down so that the ends are lined up, that's the total difference that we're looking at in the length. So there is a little bit of difference in the length, but it's not significant enough for me to really feel like it's a detriment to anyone. The other thing that might be the biggest thing, quite frankly, is going to be the button snaps. Now, with the shopwwe.com one, that is the one on the bottom here, you'll notice that they're a little bit more narrow than they are with the Paul Martin send-out straps. The reason why that could be important to people is because if you have wall hangers and you don't have an adjustable wall hanger, your new strap might not fit where you had your old strap. So I have two belt hangers myself, but both of them are adjustable. So if you're in the market to get one, I highly suggest getting an adjustable one because even from belt to belt from WWE, you're going to be looking at different widths of those button snaps. And let's say you decide, hey, I'm going to take one belt down, put another belt up. You want to be able to use that same wall hanger if you're going to do that. So once we start looking at the hand tooling next, there's really a couple differences. Now, the first thing that sticks out to me was the same thing with the NXT Championship, which is that the sizing of the hand tooling along the border is a little bit larger on the Paul Martin strap than it is on the Shop WWE strap. I'm okay with that, though. Honestly, the fact that it's bigger to me makes it stick out a little bit more and makes it look like it actually adds detail to the strap itself. The other thing is with the WWE.com strap, it doesn't feel as deep. It doesn't feel as detailed. And with the Paul Martin one, I can feel every single ridge that he's done on this strap. So once again, even though it is technically different, I prefer the Paul Martin strap. Another difference is going to be with these NXT belts. we have the X's that go all the way across the belt. Now, on the shopwwe.com one, it goes literally all the way across, including underneath the main plate. With the Paul Martin strap, we don't see that. There's actually a little bit of a gap where there's nothing, but that gap is underneath the main plate, so it's not hurting the belt. It's not something that's ever going to be seen. Saves him a little bit of time, and if saving him time saves his customers cost and price, all the more for it. And then last but not least, down on the other end, we do have a couple differences. With the shopwwe.com belt, we do have a little bit of a design flair on the very end, on the top and bottom. Paul Martin doesn't have that. That's really the only markdown that I would personally give him. But that being said, once again, not something that I'm overly concerned about. What he does instead is he puts his signature on there, and I actually really love that because I think the Paul Martin straps are so good that having his signature on there to me is a bonus. So that's really cool. So let's get these plates put back on, freshly on this new belt and see what it looks like. So, in the midst of doing the main plate, I got all the screws in except for this one. Admittedly, this is the first time I've run into an issue with either of my Paul Martin send-out straps. I actually fumbled with this for a little bit longer than I would like. So we are actually going to see how flexible the leather is to see if I can get this other screw in. And we'll see how it affects the overall look and feel of the belt, if at all. Okay, so I did get that in. I don't know if you'll be able to see this in the picture. I did bend it a little bit. That's the one that fit perfectly. This one, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but there is a little bit of formation there on the back. I actually had to have my wife help me with this because I had to hold it and try and bend it a little bit. I did think about reaching out to Paul Martin regarding it. I know it's a small detail, but it's also $400 and something odd dollars for me in the US to buy this and have it shipped. But because it also can take up to 3 months to get, I made the decision to see if I can get that formed off. As you saw in the previous part of the video, it was off by a small amount. I decided to do that. It did not affect anything on the front of the belt. So overall, happy with my decision. So we will continue getting these plates back on. All right, so now we got all the plates on the Paul Martin send-out strap. Now, as you saw a little bit earlier in the video, I did have a little bit of an issue with the main plate. I was a little surprised. Now, to be honest, I don't know how much you guys could see on the detail of the video, but it was just misaligned enough to where I couldn't get the screw in without bending the leather. I tried, trust me, I tried just letting it sit the way it was, pushing it down, putting the screw in, and letting it just seed into the hole and call it a good, but it just couldn't. There wasn't enough of grip for the screw to actually get into the hole. So off camera, with the help of my wife, thank you, honey, I did have to have some help. As I bent the leather, I had to have her put the screw in. It did create a tiny, tiny, tiny blemish in the back, but you'll actually notice it's on this side. You can't see anything on the front. On the back, it's not very noticeable, only noticeable to me because I'm the one that had to deal with it. So that being said, I'm not thrilled about that aspect of it, but I did not run into that issue with my tag team championship. It's one of those things where as I get more of these Paul Martin straps, and yes, I plan on buying more of them, so obviously it did not deter me that much. I'm curious to see if that is something that is common or not common. That being said, it is hand tooled. Once again, it is hand tooled. It's not done by a machine. There's going to be a little bit of variance. It's not something that I deemed worthy enough to stop what I was doing and reach out to him. It was so small of a difference to where I felt comfortable taking care of it myself. Let me know how you guys would have handled the situation. I'd love to read your comments. But in the meantime, overall, it's a very small blemish. So now, as for my favorite part, this is indeed the real leather strap. Now you'll notice this is the unweighted side. There's no extra weight on the end of this. That's on the bottom here. And it sits so nice. I can actually feel it touching my back, unlike with faux leather. I can feel it flexing the way that real leather flexes, and I love it already. Now, of course, with the weighted side, I can literally feel the metal plate on the end touching my back. And my personal favorite is I love being able to hold the belt and have it flex like that and have it not defy gravity. In my opinion, championship belts, when you hold them like this, not supposed to defy gravity. So this makes me an extremely happy Mr. Duality. So that being said, you guys got to see a little bit more of the detail of what happens with changing out those Paul Martin straps. Overall, pretty easy. This one took a little bit longer because each one of these is its own little screw. And turns out that me sitting on the floor for about half an hour at a time, not as easy on my body as it used to be. But overall, I'm very happy with this. Like I said, a little bit extra work than I thought I was going to have to do. But it's still something that I would easily recommend. Once again, I still plan on buying another one eventually for my North American Championship, and I'm very happy to do so. That being said, let me know what you guys think. I'm really curious, especially because this one went into a little bit more detail than I normally go into, even with my previous Paul Martin send-out strap. Now, of course, if you can, do what YouTube likes. Give me a like, give me a share, give me a subscribe if you haven't already. I plan on doing even more of these, and as I mentioned in my last video, I also want to start doing some road reviews, where I do reviews of videos for local wrestling companies here in Michigan. So be on the lookout for those, and be on the lookout for another video coming soon regarding one of the belts hanging up behind me, in fact. So thank you guys always for supporting me. Check out Paul Martin. Check out the WWE belts. Buy your favorite. Let me know what your favorite is. And definitely, we'll see you soon.